What happens when 157-mile-per-hour winds hit $4 billion worth of jets on a floating runway? There is nowhere to hide, and the ocean does not forgive mistakes. One loose chain, one missed step, or one wrong second, and a $70 million jet turns into a giant flying weapon. This is not a theory, because it already happened. In July 2022, heavy weather hit the USS Harry S. Truman. An FA-18 Super Hornet broke free and slid off the ship. It fell 9,500 feet straight into the Mediterranean Sea. That jet is gone forever, and the risk is still real. Each carrier holds dozens of aircraft, worth more than many armies. They sit fully exposed on deck during the worst storms on Earth, and carriers cannot stop or run away or park somewhere safe. Hurricane season lasts 6 months, and the threat never pauses. The U.S. Navy runs 11 supercarriers, and everyone faces this danger. So how do they survive without losing billions of dollars? The answer is hidden in chains, perfect timing, and strict discipline. Stay with this, because what keeps these jets alive will surprise you. First, let's understand the scale, because this is where the danger starts. An aircraft carrier alone costs $8.5 billion, and newer ones cost even more. But that is only the ship, not what it carries. On the deck above, the carrier parks 64 to 80 aircraft. Many are FSU-18 jets, and each costs $70 million. Some are E-2 Hawkeyes, and they cost even more. The newest F-35C jets cost over $100 million each. Add them together, and aircraft alone cross $5 billion. All of this value sits on open steel, above the ocean. Wind hits them directly, and salt never stops eating metal. One powerful storm can destroy years of work. Think of it like this. Imagine parking 60 supercars on a ship. Now place that ship inside a massive hurricane. This is the risk, and it happens every storm season. But here is the twist. The jets are not parked randomly. Every aircraft has a fixed spot, and that detail saves lives. Because when storms arrive, space and time disappear fast, and one system decides what survives and what doesn't. This is where things get serious, because chains decide survival. Every jet on the carrier has metal tie-down rings built into its body. Engineers place these rings near the wheels so the force stays controlled. The Navy never trusts ropes because ropes snap in storms. Instead, sailors use steel chains, and each chain is heavy and strong. One chain weighs 15 pounds, and it looks simple, but saves millions. These chains stop jets from turning into flying weapons. On calm days, crews use 4 to 6 chains. When storms get close, crews double or even triple them. Some jets get 14 chains pulling forward, backward, and sideways. Picture this, a 32,000-pound jet fighting the wind. If it breaks loose, it destroys everything in seconds. Each chain locks into steel fittings on the deck. Those fittings are welded deep into thick steel plates. Each fitting holds 16,000 pounds, and the Navy tests them again and again. Salt air attacks metal every day, so nothing gets ignored. Hundreds of fittings get replaced yearly because one failure costs lives. But here's the real truth. Chains don't move themselves. When winds rise, people step in, and their speed matters. And that leads to the crew, who face the storm head-on. On the flight deck, colors change everything. Every sailor wears a bright jersey, so no role gets confused. Yellow shirts guide jets, keeping movement under control. Blue shirts secure chains, stopping disaster before it starts. Green shirts run catapults, while red shirts handle weapons and rescue. Purple shirts fuel aircraft, and brown shirts own each jet. White shirts watch safety, because one mistake can shock everyone. Most of these sailors are barely in their 20s. They work in 120-degree heat, or winds that can throw bodies. The deck never slows, even when nature turns violent. This system looks perfect, but it breaks if one message fails. In April 2025, that failure shocked the Navy. An FA-18 was lost, not to war, but to silence. The bridge turned the ship, but the hangar was not warned. The jet stayed unsecured and gravity changed everything. A $70 million aircraft vanished into the ocean. One missed call nearly took a sailor's life. That moment proved something terrifying. When a carrier moves, everyone must know instantly. Extra chains go on, crews brace, and equipment locks down. Miss one step, and jets become weapons. The air boss watches from above, tracking every move. Handlers track jets like chess pieces, planning every second. But here's the truth. This still isn't the safest place. When storms grow extreme, everything changes again, and the next move will shock you even more. 2 decks below the flight deck, a hidden space protects billions. This space is the hangar bay, built to shield aircraft from storms. It stretches 685 feet long, covering most of the ship's length. When storms move closer, the air boss makes the call. Aircraft are sent below, and every minute matters. 4 massive elevators move non-stop, carrying jets down fast. Each elevator lifts 2 fighters, each weighing 74,000 pounds. Inside the hangar bay, over 60 aircraft can stay protected. Thick steel walls surround them, blocking wind and sea spray. Heavy sliding doors divide the space, forming 4 separate zones. If one zone gets damaged, the others stay safe. This design has saved aircraft during real emergencies in the past. But the hangar bay has a risk, and few people notice it. The fire system uses seawater, not fresh water. Seawater can destroy electronics and damage cockpits quickly. That is why crews seal everything before any jet moves below. Every canopy closes, and every panel gets checked. Space below is limited, so not every jet fits. The most valuable aircraft go first, based on mission priority. F-35s move down, while some jets stay exposed above. Those aircraft face the storm directly, and their survival depends on what happens next on the deck. Picture the flight deck just before a storm hits. Winds rise past 40 miles per hour, and waves slam the hull. Sea spray shoots upward, covering the deck in water. The deck crew moves fast, but nothing looks rushed. Teams follow clear rolls, using training drilled for years. Rain hits their faces while the deck tilts underfoot. They work beside jets, worth more than most cities own. Every aircraft gets its wings folded to save precious space. An FA-18 shrinks in width from 40 feet to 27 feet. That small change matters when the deck keeps moving. Imagine parking cars on a road that never stops shaking. Now imagine each car costs $70 million. This is the reality, and mistakes have no mercy. Then the chains come out, and everything tightens. Blue shirts attach 12 to 14 chains in storm conditions. They pull forward and backward, left and right. Each chain locks the jet from every possible direction. Every chain gets tested, then checked again. No slack is allowed, because slack means disaster. Time works against them as winds grow stronger. Visibility drops fast, and the deck turns dangerous. Yet every jet must be secured before the storm fully arrives. When the deck finally goes quiet, the jets stay in place. But the storm is not done, and the ship now takes the hit. What keeps a 100,000-ton carrier steady when the ocean tries to break it? A supercarrier does not wait when a storm attacks. Engineers design these ships to fight the ocean actively. Modern carriers use stabilizers, not luck or hope. The Gerald R. Ford class uses gyroscopic stabilizers. These are moving blades built inside the ship. They react to waves and push back instantly. Sensors across the carrier track motion and direction. Computers read that data and adjust the stabilizers. This system cuts rolling before jets can start sliding. Think of a car suspension, but scaled to 100,000 tons. Every wave tries to tip the ship, and the system pushes back. But stabilizers are not the real secret, and this part matters most. The ship's balance saves it, not just technology. The center of buoyancy sits higher than the center of gravity. When the carrier tilts, physics forces it upright. The more it leans, the harder it corrects itself. A wide flat hull adds stability below the waterline. This design spreads force across multiple waves at once. Short ships bounce violently, but long carriers ride over waves. Still, stability alone is not enough, and mistakes cost everything. The carrier must move, not sit still. It must turn correctly, or waves hit the side hard. One wrong heading, and everything changes fast. That final move decides whether jets survive or slide. During a storm, the carrier turns straight into the wind. This move is not a choice. It is pure survival. Sailing into the wind lowers the force hitting the deck. The bow cuts the waves like a blade through water. The ship drives forward, directly into the storm's anger. It feels violent, but it keeps the deck stable. Taking waves from the side causes serious danger. Side hits create rolling, and water floods the deck. Bow first waves get sliced, causing less movement. Think of walking into wind instead of getting shoved sideways. Forward is hard, but sideways knocks you down. Carriers learned this lesson through years of brutal storms. To hold this position, massive power is required. Twin nuclear reactors drive the ship without fuel limits. 4 steam turbines push constantly, even in 150 miles per hour winds. That power keeps the heading, no matter how long the storm lasts. Conventional ships must slow because fuel runs out. Nuclear carriers never stop, and that changes everything. But this control is not automatic, and the danger stays real. The bridge watches non-stop, tracking wind and pressure. One wrong turn, and the deck turns into chaos. Even with perfect control, the ocean still finds a way, because when water reaches the deck, the real test begins. When the storm gets serious, the watertight protocol begins. Backup pumps stand ready and kick in automatically. The ship fights flooding, even without human help. For now, the carrier holds, and the storm stays outside. But weather is not the only threat, and the next danger is worse. Because sometimes storms arrive with missiles already in the air. In 2024 and 2025, the USS Harry S. Truman faced a worst-case situation. Heavy storms arrived while missiles and drones followed. Houthi forces launched attacks as waves slammed the ship. The crew secured jets while alarm sirens screamed danger. Missile warnings sounded and the ship turned hard. Everything just secured started shifting again. Then crews had to re-secure jets immediately under active threat. During this deployment, 3 FA-18 jets were lost. 1 jet was shot down by friendly fire. 1 fell from the hangar during evasive maneuvering. Another crashed after arresting gear failed. It felt like packing a truck while rocks flew at you. Only this truck cost $13 billion and the rocks exploded. The investigation revealed a shock beyond broken machines. Maintenance slipped and complacency appeared. These were human failures, not just mechanical ones. The Navy reacted fast, with stricter training and oversight. Because in storms and combat, 0 mistakes are allowed. Weather does not pause war, and war does not pause storms. Both hit together, pushing people to the limit. Still, the mission continued, and the carrier kept fighting. But after the storm ends, another hard phase begins. Restoring full readiness will test the crew again. When the storm finally passes, the real work begins immediately. Every aircraft gets inspected for salt damage and hidden cracks. Salt water attacks electronics, hydraulics, and engines first. Crews open every panel and check every system carefully. Jets left on the deck receive priority inspection. The flight deck itself gets checked because steel also takes damage. Tie-down points feel massive stress, and deck plates can shift. Catapults and arresting gear must prove they still work. Think of this like a full medical exam, not a quick cleanup. Nothing flies until multiple teams sign off. This process can take hours or days after heavy storms. Missions still wait, and pressure builds fast. Move too quickly, and equipment can fail later. Move too slowly, and readiness suffers. This balance decides survival, not just engineering. Because when everything is added together, one truth stands out. The real secret is not one machine or one rule. It is the system, where every part works together. Chains matter, stabilizers matter, but people matter most. Most people think carriers feel invincible, but they are always at risk. Every storm becomes a test between nature and preparation. One skipped step or one missed message can destroy millions. That is why training rules everything, not luck or strength. Young sailors protect billions with focus and discipline. They work in chaos, and mistakes are not allowed. Remember the jet that sank 9,500 feet. That loss came from one failure, not one storm. The Navy learned, trained harder, and removed shortcuts for 60 years. Carriers faced every storm. Not one was lost, because details were never ignored. That is how billion-dollar jets survive, storm after storm. From strong chains to safe hangar bays below. From smart stabilizers to crews who never stop working. Every step matters and every sailor matters. You just saw what really happens when storms hit carriers. It is not luck, it is training, rules, and focus. This is how the US Navy protects billions at sea. If this opened your eyes, hit like and subscribe. Your support helps. Bring more real stories like this. Now tell me, what shocked you the most? Share your thoughts below and let's talk.